For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile. And the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time. There's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Program schedule, updated local news, sports, contests, and more. Visit today at supertalk1270.com.
It's time for Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken. Coming up this morning, we've got the latest and greatest from the brand new flyer coming out at Runnings. We'll talk to Runnings coming up a little bit later on this morning, but I want to get right into what's going on with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to beck.news, BEK.news, and get all the latest information. Of course, the PSC hearing is coming up on December 21st. Mark that date on your calendar if you're interested. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. But Lori, thanks for coming back on the program.
Glad to be here, as always. And you're right, there will very likely be a large crowd at that PSC hearing coming up in the Pioneer Room, 2 p.m. on the 21st. And I expect a pretty robust public attendance at that one.
And the Pioneer Room is in the judicial wing, if anybody's curious.
Correct. And so I thought today I would share some information that I found just before the weekend, and it was located on an informational document that was attached as a PDF at the end of a news story that I was reading from a radio station in South Dakota called KXLJ. So KXLJ News in South Dakota had this, Steve Druin, news director, had this story, and at the end they included this PDF. Well, I opened up the PDF, and it comes out of the office of Attorney Brian Jordy. And Attorney Brian Jordy has been just a rock star for the landowners in South Dakota. He's also been representing many landowners in North Dakota as well. And Brian Jordy put together an infographic. And I will call this an information sheet. It is 13 pages long. It says, protecting our families, preserving our future on the front of it. And it says LEDR. LEDR stands for Landowners United to Protect Property Rights. E for Eminent Domain Reform to Protect Property Rights. D, Defend Our Families to Preserve Our Children's Future. And R, Restrict foreign ownership of private land. So they get into that as well in this. Very interesting graphic, and I thought I would share some takeaways of what it has on here. It talks about all you need to know. It is one of those encapsulated, very drilled down to the basics of what you need to learn about the CO2 pipelines. The size and scale of the pipeline networks makes them the first of their kind, it starts off by saying. It talks about CO2 plus water equaling carbonic acid, which eats through metal transport pipes. It talks about the fact that the pipelines are untested. It takes 15.6 8-inch pipes to carry the volume of one 24-inch pipe. Now, you may not know that. It's not 3 times. It's 15.6 times the amount of volume in a 24-inch pipe, which is what the terminus pipe that would go around Bismarck Mandan would be in its size. It says CO2 pipeline safety valves are proposed every 20 miles apart. That is important because if there is 20 miles between those valves, that means the shutoff means there's 20 miles worth of volume which could be released in the case of any type of a dangerous release. it also says that CO2 pipelines do rupture and pose unique significant safety hazards. Response to rupture requires specialized teams, equipment, and vehicles. CO2 pipeline incident rate currently is about twice that of natural gas. A leak can open a CO2 pipeline like a zipper. I mean, this is just phenomenal information, and I've heard it before, but never all together in one document where I could go through it and look at it. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to be able to share this information with the public, because this document, it was added as an exhibit, I suspect, in the IUB hearings, the Iowa hearings, but we haven't seen it in North Dakota. The next page says, the proposed carbon pipeline, what you need to know. It says, damaging to land and poses a significant health and safety threat to families and communities. CO2 pipelines of this size and length have never been built before. Carbon capture companies formed with foreign investment to capitalize on federal U.S. tax credits. CO2 pipelines have a track record of ruptures. Burden of oversight and safety falls to the counties. Ultimately, little to no impact on climate change. So it goes on and on. It's just a phenomenal visual. It talks about the Satartia release that happened in 2020 in Satartia, Mississippi, and shows pictures of that. It talks about the pipeline and the total miles of hazardous liquid pipelines in the United States, which is 229,287 total miles of hazardous liquid pipeline. 5,100 miles of those, about 2.2% of those miles are CO2 pipelines. So only 5,100 miles in the United States. And most of the CO2 pipelines in the United States, according to this graphic, most are less than 100 miles. As you may or may not know, the Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline is slated to be over 2,000 miles.
Well, that's one of the things, Lori, is they're little the vast majority of these are little connectors. They don't even hit that 20-mile mark. They're picking up, and then sequestration is taking place at a site. So it's just a little collector pipe. And it's interesting when you start talking about the volume, because the multiplier on that, because of the pressure in that pipe, is absolutely phenomenal. And I would hope that you would get this up at Beck.News and get this posted, because having all these little pieces, because I've heard all these pieces before, they're all different arguments, but having them all encapsulated into one document, that's something we have not seen yet.
Right. This is just a phenomenal exhibit that I believe Brian Jordy put together, and I will do my best to make sure that I can get it up on our site. If you go to Beck.News, you can find a graphic that is black that says Capturing America's Heartland CO2 Pipeline. And on that page, you can find all of our individual stories, all of our 1-hour programs, all of our radio hits that we have, which reminds me we need to put some new ones up here. But also, it takes more than 15, as I mentioned, 8-inch pipes to carry the volume of one 24-inch pipe, which is what is proposed. And it says next, a 20-mile-long, 24-inch pipe could fill 1,880 over 1,800 Olympic-sized swimming pools in its volume. Think about the amount that they are talking about there. 1,800 Olympic-sized swimming pools is the volume.
We're up against a break. When we come back, more with Lori Hintz of Beck News. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
When everyone's on the same page, getting things done at work is easy. No matter what you do or what industry you're in, how you communicate is key. Everything you type is equally important to collaboration, and Grammarly can help. Think of it as your AI writing partner, empowering you to communicate effectively and efficiently, so you can make a bigger impact in the workplace. 96% of Grammarly users say it helps them craft more impactful writing. And as the gold standard of responsible AI, Grammarly is your secure AI writing partner that allows your team to make their point and move faster. By understanding your writing in context, Grammarly provides relevant, personalized suggestions. And with tone suggestions, you can navigate even the most difficult work conversations. You can also save time from spending hours editing drafts to just seconds with one click. Sign up and download Grammarly for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken along with Lori Hintz from Beck News, Beck.news, and some great information coming out about CO2 and some of the parameters, things you may not know, all concerning Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline, turning North Dakota into a CO2 sequestration dumping ground at the behest of the governor. But that's politics, and we're not going to get into that right now because Lori is about information with Beck News. You can go to Beck.news for all the latest information and find out all the details. Actually, great reporting, Lori. I appreciate what you do very much from an informational standpoint. And PSC hearing coming up on December 21st, 2 p.m. at the Pioneer Room. Kind of important to be there. I know Burleigh County is an intervener. County is going to be there. Emmons County, city of Bismarck as an intervener.
Correct.
We'll have some opportunities to speak. And Summit Carbon Solution is, from my understanding, going to get rebuttal time off of every one of these intervener speaking moments. So it'll be very interesting to watch, and I'm sure Beck will be there with all the latest information from that as well. I want to go back to the infographic and the information from South Dakota, because putting all this information in one place, Attorney Brian Jordy, representing a lot of landowners in South Dakota and North Dakota as well, doing a really good job kind of housing all this and kind of summarizing all this information, because it's a lot to go through. It really is.
It is. And this is just, it's an amazing document. It's called LEDR Landowners, which is the South Dakota group and for eminent domain reform. And this infographic is just so extensive but so concise that you can go through and look at it in just a couple of minutes and get completely up to speed on what a lot of the issues are with the CO2 pipelines and the issues that the landowners and those developers have with this. I was only about halfway through it when we took the break there, and I'm going to give you another couple of pages here of this and read to you some of the information on here. It's very simply put. It's very easy to understand. It says CO2 pipelines have a history of rupture with devastating impact to people, communities, and the environment. Ruptures pose unique, significant safety hazards. They can create a shrapnel of dry ice, CO2 gas, dirt, rock, and pipe steel. Now, you imagine the amount of high pressure in one of those pipelines, and if it were to rupture, it spews things high as well, too. It says incident rate currently is about twice that of natural gas, as they mentioned in an earlier pipeline page. It says 1 mile long, 8-inch pipe rupture sends gas 197 feet high and 1,312 feet wide from the pipe center. So 1,300 feet wide, almost 200 feet in the air, and that is an 8-inch pipeline rupture. That is not a 24-inch pipeline rupture.
Lori, a lot of people have had concerns about this, and the flag that got thrown up and really got people engaged from the public safety side of things was the fact that there are all these different safety protocols, different from oil or gas or any other pipeline, different safety protocols that need to be put in place. And when the company, Summit, wasn't forthright and getting that information to elected officials and the public safety officials, the information that they needed, that's really what threw up a lot of red flags, going, wait a minute,
right.
We need to look at this a whole lot more. That's just one aspect of it, the safety side of things. There are different protocols that need to be in place and need to have different resources from a safety aspect to keep the public safe.
And this is where PHMSA kind of comes into the picture. The Pipeline Hazardous Materials and Safety Administration, which is part of the Department of Transportation federally, is looking at new guidelines because this is new. This is new technology. The very little that we do have for history is just not dealing with a 24-inch pipeline of supercritical. It's just not. So this is new ground. These are new areas. And before this company is allowed to create this supercritical 24-inch pipeline around a city of about 80,000 people in Bismarck, it is important that we know some information. We need to know how EMS would be able to respond. We need to know how the fire stations will be able to, respond, because their vehicles are combustion engines. They would not, with a plume, they would not be able to get to victims in a timely manner or at all with the vehicles that they now possess. So this is really important stuff, and people need to be aware of this. And particularly, the company needs to come 100% in with their information that they have derived with regard to safety for the communities that they are expecting to encircle, if you will. Another thing it says on this page in particular is that a 12.5-inch pipe rupture can travel more than 4 miles from the center. Well, that would be a tremendous amount of homes and people and area that would cover the Bismarck-Mandan area with the pipeline that goes around. And so then it goes on to another page that deals with the Satartia, Mississippi CO2 pipeline rupture. Unfortunately,
hold that
this
thought.
is the only...
Lori, hold that thought because I want to come back to that, and we're up against the break. But, the other side of that from the safety side is what's the capacity for hospitals? I mean, we saw the hospitals fill up with COVID and no capacity. What are you treating, and what is the capacity for those types of injuries? That's the other question, and you got to make sure that the healthcare and Bismarck's in a unique place because we're really a regional medical hub. But I highly doubt that they would be staffed up to be able to deal with something of magnitude as well. So I want to come back and talk about that in the Satartia, Mississippi when we come back. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to Beck News, beck.news, BEK.news. That's Burley, Emmons, Kidder County. And find out all the latest. Just go to the tab, Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline, all the information you need there. And we're talking about the LEDR. We'll talk about that more when we come back. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Bismarck.
Your destinations and ideas. RM World Travel. Sunday morning, starting at 5 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store, and Silver Ranch.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bach along with Lori Hintz from Beck News, beck.news, BEK.news. If you want to find out the latest of Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline and all things surrounding that, Public Service Commission hearing coming up on December 21st, Pioneer Room at 2 p.m. That's in the judicial wing. So that is an opportunity for the interveners to speak out, and Summit will rebut some of the comments and points being made by the interveners. Again, we're discussing an LEDR landowners discussion that Attorney Brian Jordy, who's been representing a bunch of landowners in South Dakota and North Dakota, had put out, and really encapsulates a lot of things going on around CO2 and CO2 sequestration. Lori, we were talking about Satartia, Mississippi, that is referenced in this document as well as we were hitting into the break.
Yeah, I was looking through this document. I would call it an infographic. It's about 13 pages long. It was created as an exhibit and attached to an article that I was reading from a radio station. And it's a phenomenal document because it is just so simple in its information. And it talks about the Satartia, Mississippi CO2 pipeline rupture on February 22nd of 2020, just almost 4 years ago now. And it was a 24-inch pipeline carrying liquefied carbon dioxide that ruptured, resulting in a plume. Denbury Gulf Coast Pipelines the largest global CO2 pipeline owner. So far, 1,300 miles of pipeline for that company. Satarsha incident pipeline was 77 miles long. That's all, 77 miles long. And records show that they had 2 to 3 incidents per year for Denbury. Now, they closed the gates, which were 9.5 miles apart on either side of the rupture. It functioned perfectly. But tunneled 30 feet under the highway, the rupture still created a 40-foot crater when it ruptured. Gas continued out of the crater 1 mile over a hill and into the town, although pre-construction modeling showed Satarsha would not be affected. So they had looked at the modeling in advance, and it supposedly wasn't going to be affected, but it went over a hill. Area first responders never had received training or equipment for a CO2 rupture for that event. And interestingly, bankruptcy gives companies a quick and easy exit, leaving the burden on our government and landowners. So when Denbury had this event, the CO2 rupture happened on February 22nd. On July 30th, Denbury Gulf Coast filed for bankruptcy and then reorganized December 15th and later was purchased, that you may remember, by Exxon Oil. So most affected people have yet to receive fair compensation for their injuries from that event that happened almost 4 years ago now. And the most severely affected have become dependent on the state. That is the information you do not get about the Satarsha event.
Lori,
and that's yeah.
The other side of that, too, is, okay, this is after the fact and how you make people whole after the fact when there's a bankruptcy and corporate bankruptcy. And, okay, on the front side, who's responsible for, hey, we have a CO2 pipeline running through our backyard and we need all these electric vehicles, breathing units, training. Who picks up the tab on the front end? That's going to fall on the backs of taxpayers. And there is no way. Yep. There is no way that burden that's going to fall to the taxpayers because of the cost involved can be afforded by the taxpayers.
Precisely. And that is the next infographic page. It says the burden of oversight and safety falls to the counties and ultimately the citizens, just precisely as you said, Steve. Pipeline monitoring is done remotely. It'll be done from Iowa, out of state. Response to ruptures requires specialized teams, equipment, and vehicles. PHMSA's safety oversight only includes design, construction, and operation. So current regulations do not protect citizens, according to this infographic. New and updated regulations are due in the fall of next year, fall of 2024. So we're in a real watershed moment right now where we really need to protect our citizens. And until those PHMSA rules are out, make sure that we know who is going to be protecting our citizens with regard to the oversight in the EMS.
So, Lori, is that in the scope of PHMSA's new regulations? Is the protection, the equipment, the safety protocols, does all that, because you mentioned the construction side of stuff, and that's usually where PHMSA sits on the construction and the pre-safety stuff, but is that in their scope to be able to go, you got to pay for this rural fire department to have all this equipment and training?
Hazmat and breathing apparatus and all of the things that you require. Battery-operated UTV-type vehicles where they could be able to get in and get people and get them out of a situation. Their education alone to let people know that if there was a release and was some sort of catastrophic guillotine-type opening in this pipeline, that people know what to do in their own homes to try to protect themselves from the ensuing asphyxiation plume, which is utterly odorless and colorless. So there are so many different emergency systems that need to be involved with this. You might have to go into your home, stay in your home, try to plug I don't know how you do it, plug all of the intakes and air opportunities for anything to seep into your home, and then try to survive that until things dissipate, however long that would take. I
can't help myself, Lori, but I keep going back to the scene with the angel of death from the Ten Commandments with the little green fog going all over the place. I mean, maybe rubbing some lamb's blood over your doorway might protect you from the CO2.
Well, I don't know how.
I'm sorry about that. It's just the visual I get. It's just that's the visual I get if something were to happen.
And even more concerning is the fact that this next page says that Summit Carbon Solutions and Navigator Heartland Greenway companies are new private for-profit companies. Their job is to make profits for their investors, of whom we don't know. They were formed specifically to take advantage of these new lucrative 45Q federal tax credits. They have significant foreign investment and ownership, which puts up a big red flag for this girl who did the Fufeng project story for months. And Summit ties to South Korean company that pleaded guilty and fined multiple times for government fraud. Navigator is funded by BlackRock, which has much of its foreign ownership. And neither company has experience in building nor management of hazardous CO2 pipelines. What could possibly go wrong?
Okay, Lori, can you read that back one more time, please?
You bet. So Summit Carbon Solutions and Navigator Heartland Greenway are new private for-profit companies.
Okay.
They were formed to
So
they were formed to take advantage of the credit.
So private for-profit companies. The argument for common carrier status, they just blew up themselves. Private for-profit does not get to take your land. Private for-profit does not get to own your land or have control over your land as a private property owner. They just took out the common carrier status themselves. And that's what they've been fighting for, is common carrier status. But they're not a for-public entity, for public good. This is for-profit private business. They just stated that. So that entire argument they keep making about common carrier status and this is a good... No, absolutely not.
If you happen to have watched the fourth presidential debate last week, I believe it was on Wednesday, there were four candidates on stage, and they were given 1 minute each to give their final closing statement. And 38-year-old entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy spent his entire 1 minute talking about the climate change hoax and CO2 pipelines. It's fascinating if you want to look it up and take a look and see what he had to say about it. But that was on a national stage, and that is what has happened recently within the last 2 weeks, is that people nationally have been made aware of this. And he specifically talks to the fact that these are for-profit private entities who are using eminent domain to take the land of farmers and ranchers all across Iowa, especially. That's where he has been campaigning, and it's resonating. It is obviously resonating because many different events have been held. He himself held an event with a group called the Free Soil Coalition that was very well attended, and there's video available of that also. If you go to Vivek Ramaswamy's X or Twitter account, you can see the 48-minute video that he did there talking about it as well. So the national attention has now been drawn to Iowa and the Midwestern states with this issue. So we shall see what happens as more and more people are made aware of it. Much like what happened with the China issue with buying up land that was 12 miles away from a, Air Force base with the most technologically advanced Space Force program in the United States of America.
Lori,
what could possibly go wrong?
We're up against a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about Iowa, and I want to talk about the green agenda doubling down. When we come back, we're talking with Lori Hintz from Beck News, Beck.News. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
70.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bike along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. Lori, we just got a couple minutes left, but I want to come back and talk a little bit about the doubling down of these green agendas, especially when it comes to CO2, because there's been a lot of pushback over the last 6 months from the science community and those that are like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? In fact, you're even seeing that in CUP 28, that they're starting to try to shift a little bit from CO2 to methane, which, okay, that's a good place to go. CO2, carbon's a building block. Putting it in the ground, we need it. But the methane, okay, that's a greenhouse gas that doesn't dissipate, and it's high up in the atmosphere. Okay, great. Go after landfills, number 2 producer globally of methane. That's a discussion that they're going to take. Very happy for that. But there's been a doubling down of this attack against the population, saying you need to follow this agenda. And I say follow the money, because that's all it is. Right. It's about following the money. Because what's the flavor of next month?
I have been observing in the last probably 6 to 8 months a change in people's attitudes toward the climate agenda. And I could be wrong on this, and this is anecdotally just from what I have seen. But in North Dakota in particular, people are very skeptical of the whole climate agenda. If somebody tells you in New York that they're going to take your gas stoves and you can no longer have the gas stoves, they're like, yeah, what? Okay, here in North Dakota, that stuff is just not going to fly with people. They're very skeptical of it. We also have a different view of battery-operated vehicles here, just simply because they would never allow us to be able to get around in sub-zero temperatures. We're bright enough to realize that sort of thing may work for California, but it's not going to work for the upper Midwest, and particularly areas where temperatures get down below freezing.
But we're also going to see that here.
There's a healthy skepticism.
We're going to feel those results, though, just from what California is doing on the trucking industry and the mandates they put in with electrical truck. 200-mile range. I mean, come on. You talk about everybody saw what happened after COVID with the supply chain. Now, tenfold, 20-fold. You're going to shut it down, and it doesn't function. Now, I want to go back to what took place in Iowa, because this is scary, Lori. This is really scary. We got about 2 minutes,
I'll make it really quick. This is a news story that comes from the intrepid Jared Strong, and he has been really a terrific reporter on this whole thing. I'm just so impressed with his stuff. It says it is a story that came out on December 5th, and it talks about what happened on the prior day, December 4th, Monday. Pipeline company prevails over 2 county ordinances. And Summit Carbon Solutions, which hopes to build a 5-state pipeline, and to transport the greenhouse gas to North Dakota for underground sequestration, sued the counties and argued that they lack the authority to impose the restrictions. The company said that the federal government is charged with regulating the pipeline safety and that the Iowa Utilities Board has authority over their placement. Chief Judge Stephanie Rose of the Federal Southern District of Iowa agreed. Rose granted Summit summary judgments in both the lawsuits on Monday the 4th and issued permanent injunctions to block the counties from enforcing the ordinances. So that is really interesting precedent. We'll see if the PSC, or the Public Service Commission in North Dakota, has a similar ruling. We will see what happens on the 21st when they are hearing about whether or not the county ordinances can be superseded and preempted as well.
What's interesting about that, Lori, is the language that the judge used. And federal judge, which I'm hoping this will get appealed, because this goes right back in the face of landowners' rights and local control, and you're throwing that out the window, but didn't throw out the ordinances, threw out the enforcement of the ordinances. That's a little nuance that you need to pay attention to, because now you've got, your ordinance is fine, but we're just not going to let you enforce that ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary.
The article says the ordinances set minimum distances to locate the pipelines away from cities, homes, schools, and other sites. They also have some requirements that pertain to emergency response plans in case of a pipeline breach, it says as well.
Lori, looking forward to. I hope you can get that LEDR landowners thing up on the Beck News site, beck.news. Also, love to get that clip up from Ramaswamy on there, just to be able to see that on Beck, so people can see that people are paying attention. People are starting to get that out there. Lori, thanks for joining us this morning.
You're very welcome. Thanks so much, Steve, for giving us this story a voice. I appreciate it.
Lori Hintz, Beck News. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
The Todd Starnes Daily Update. Weekday mornings at 11:30 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy. Just get in line. It moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty. Peak Automotive and Service. Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store. And Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken, and guest in the studio today. Great event coming up. One of the ones that I really enjoy from a charity foundation perspective, Make-A-Wish. They do so many great things, and we've got an event coming up out at the University of Mary, and special guest Sophia in today, a softball player for the University of Mary. Introduce yourself, and then we'll talk about Make-A-Wish.
Yes, so my name is Sophia Jansen. I am a part of the UMary softball team. I'm currently a junior at the University of Mary, getting a degree in biomechanics, but I'm also a part of our student athlete advisory committee.
So what position do you play?
I'm a pitcher.
So do you use the biomechanics side to be a better pitcher?
Sometimes.
Is that how the science works?
Sometimes I do, definitely. Sometimes it ties in very quickly, especially now with how quickly pitching has evolved.
See, that'll get you the perfect game.
Exactly. Just like that. Yeah. And so we have decided to partner with Make-A-Wish to help with them with this fundraiser for our basketball game.
Well, a little background on Make-A-Wish. I mean, Make-A-Wish does so many great things for kids. It's a sad story, but positive outcomes and positive stories come out of that. How did you get involved with Make-A-Wish? How did you guys decide that, you know what, this is where we want to go with our charitable side of being an athlete?
Yeah, so obviously Make-A-Wish is they help ages from 2.5 to 18, and so a wide spectrum of individuals, but I think Make-A-Wish touches every athlete's heart in so many ways. A lot of the individuals that end up with these terminal illnesses or malignant cancers, they want to be athletes. They want to have that dream. They want to be at the sporting events, and sometimes they just can't get it. And so us to be able to incorporate them into this event and to show our community support through these events, through these athletic events, and through saying athletes are willing to be back to you and come back to that community just shows that we're willing to be as one, as a community.
You think about professional athletes, but on the collegiate level too, whether you want to or not, you're role models for a lot of kids, especially fans of the sport that you happen to be playing in. So an opportunity to give back in that fashion through your sport for a great cause for the kids, that's got to be pretty cool. That's got to be a cool feeling.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think it definitely hits more that night when the event's going on and you get to see some of the kids smiling that are there, and you start seeing the impact of all the other athletes that will be there, not just like the softball team, but like when we start having our football athletes there and all of the UMary organization that just comes together. It's definitely a cool night.
So you've got the raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which does such great work with kids, and getting that wish to kids and acting as a role model. So it's almost like you're paying off some dividends a couple times, because you got the event, you've got your role as a role model, and then that wish that so kind of triple dipping there a little bit. But tell us about the event, because you guys worked with UMary Athletics, working with the basketball program as well.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of all hands on deck from an athlete perspective out at the University of Mary.
Yeah, so it is definitely all hands on deck. We're going to try to use as many sports teams as possible to just really show that all sports teams are willing to give back to this organization. We are going to have it at the UMary basketball game on December 12th. At 4 o'clock starts our men's game, and at 6 o'clock starts our women's game. And we are going to do multiple different things throughout the night. And so we're going to do miracle minutes throughout the game, where it'll just be free will donations. And then we're going to sell Make-A-Wish stars, where you can write your favorite wish or your dream wish, kind of like what the kids do when they want their wishes, when they're trying to get their wishes granted. Just to show that community support, everyone has a wish. It's not just you, and everyone wants their wishes. And then we're going with a blue out theme, just like Make-A-Wish always is. They're always blue. They always were blue. And then we are going with our other...
for argument's sake, we're going to say it's UMary Blue. So
Yep.
Of course.
UMary Blue. UMary Blue. We'll keep it that way. Keep it simple. And then we're just going to continue to have fun with it. Whoever shows up... keep it simple and just try to have a good night with it.
So if you haven't had an opportunity to get to a UMary basketball game, either men's or women's yet, mark it down your calendar. The night you want to be there, Tuesday, December 12th. Men games begins at 4 o'clock. Women's game begins at 6 p.m. But the entire night, fundraising opportunities for Make-A-Wish. So if somebody would like, maybe they can't make the basketball game, but they'd like to help because Make-A-Wish is such a great charity, and they want to support the work that you guys are doing as UMary athletes. How do people get a hold of you, or how do people donate, or if they want to get involved and help out, how does somebody do that?
Yeah, so they can just reach out to our athletics department at the University of Mary. A lot of us are all hands on deck knowing this organization and this fundraiser that's coming up. It's one of our biggest ones right now. And so anyone in the athletics department will know. So you can just go onto our generalized UMary website and pull up an email, and they'll get you right to the information.
Perfect. Mark it down on the calendar, Tuesday, December 12th. Sophia, thanks for coming in today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And thanks for helping put this on and raise money for a great charity.
Thanks.
December 12th, UMary hosting a Make-A-Wish men's and women's basketball games at the UMary Gymnasium on behalf of UMary's SAAC. So make sure you stop on out. Mark it down your calendar if you haven't been to a game yet. Actually, a great venue. I love going to games out at the University of Mary. Great court. Help with that home field advantage and help with donating and getting a kid to get their wish with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Once again, December 12th, that's a Tuesday night. Games are going to be men's tipping off at 4 p.m., women's at 6 p.m., all helping the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. When we come back, it's Runnings. Guess what's on sale? Yeah, one of my favorites. It's Jerky Monday. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Jerky Monday, we got steak bites today. Iowa Smokehouse on sale at Runnings. $5 off.
$5 off a bag right now on all three flavors. So there's a black pepper, which is one we have, which is great.
Yeah.
Then there's the regular original one. Then they have a sweet chili pepper one.
I like the sweet chili pepper one, too.
I almost brought... Oh, is that not a twist top?
Uh-oh. You know, I can get this open, but they
hard to find.
As soon as I can get it open. I haven't seen this before. Millstream Brewing Company, original root beer, Amana, Iowa.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got that one in the other day. We're like, oh, this is a new one. We haven't seen this one, too. But that, yeah, we like the pop, Mon Pop soda stuff we're getting in. And the cooler's doing really well, too.
Yep, and here's Rick. Of course, he, Jerky Monday.
Thank you.
Rick Ryder, he's kind of a... We should make him stay and talk when he sees how he pops in.
Comes in every week now.
Just to grab the jerky.
Oh, yeah, it's over there. I'm going to get it.
So, no, the mom and pop and the candy store. And, oh, my, yeah.
You know, and it's doing really good. I gotta say, we've done a good job this year trying to keep some of the nuts and stuff in for baking.
That's hard. The last couple of years have been really
It's been
hard.
really rough. And then this year, we just last week finally got the in shells, like the hazelnuts, walnuts, pecans. We got all those in shell. And that's kind of that's definitely like that's a holiday thing for me growing up, was always having the nutcracker and that little metal pick thing on my grandma's table. And we'd go over there.
My grandmother, yep, she had this big wooden, and the nutcracker was mounted on it in the center. So you had all these different nuts, and this is really good steak wise. So you got all these different nuts, and it's like we'd sit there and just crack nuts, walnuts, and all of them. It's just
Shoot, and it's amazing how much more you eat that way, because it's exciting, it's fun.
Addicting.
We finally got them in. They came in a couple weeks late this year, but it is definitely something I remember growing up at Grandma's and
Grandpa's. Things you have
Grandpa's.
to work for, you appreciate more.
Yeah, there you go.
So having to crack the nuts, yeah.
And the occasional
tastes
finger
better.
pinch.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, one bad memory from Grandma's, but no, but some of the baking supplies too. You don't think about Runnings as a grocery store, but when you talk about the nut selection, especially when it comes to baking season, you guys have all that.
We do, and we're sitting good too. We ordered a few extra lefse grills and stuff too. So if that's something you're still in the market for, we have a lot of big family traditions around here where they still get together and they do a whole lefse a day. And we got the grill, and we have that little wooden. I'm not sure. I've never made it. Shame on me.
A little stick you flip
but I do
over,
enjoy a little sugar and butter and roll it up.
I'm a honey
and
guy.
eat it.
I like honey on good lefse.
Never had it with honey.
Yeah, a little honey,
A little cinnamon and sugar, some butter.
Yeah.
Roll that up. Ooh.
Honey's healthier. That's kinda, but actually, I almost started a fight in our house over lefse the other day. Rick's back for another piece. Wow, Rick.
Brown sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Brown sugar with lefse.
Oh.
Ooh, that's something new. Okay, you heard it from Rick Ryder. Brown sugar, lefse. Okay, maybe I have to try that. Piece of pepper.
But yeah, we have some of these oddball items. If you get together and you do some of these, and these are some big family memories, and you want to pass it along, we ordered a few extra lefse grills this year. That's what people are asking earlier. It's a great time to come in, and you still got a couple weeks left. We start the 12 days of Christmas tomorrow.
Ooh. All right, we're going to talk about that after the break, but
Yep.
I almost started a fight. At least I thought I was going to start a fight in our house because my wife makes lefse, and she makes pretty good lefse. And then her and her girlfriends get together, and they make all the Norwegian kroomkake and rosettes and all that stuff. And our neighbor texted me. He's like, hey, him and his wife just made lefse. It's like, you guys like lefse? I'm like, well, yeah, because Wendy made some for Thanksgiving, and of course, we're out. And so he brought over some lefse. And a couple rounds for each of us, and it was the best lefse I've ever had. And I'm like, Wendy, I don't know how to say this, but this is better than yours. And she's like, you're right. She's like, I wonder what I'm doing differently. But it was so thin and moist and just and stayed together. It was perfect.
And that's if you can't buy that from a grocery store.
No.
This is something
There's a lot
that
of
is
places that make lefse, and you can buy lefse.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% better. Find someone who made it
was
locally.
the thinnest, moistest, held togetherest, best lefse I've ever had.
And you put honey in it?
Since my grandmother and aunts used to make.
Oh.
Yeah. I did one with a little sugar and cinnamon, butter, cinnamon, sugar.
Yep.
But now I need some more lefse because I have to try the brown sugar thing.
All right, well, yeah.
That sounds, you get the little maple flavor and a little cinnamon flavor.
Like a caramel roll, cinnamon roll.
Yeah.
I'd be down. I'd try it.
Caramel. Ooh.
I love the caramel roll.
Ooh.
You heard it here first.
Oh, no. Think about this, though. You take the good caramel from good caramel rolls and put that on there and then roll it up. Let it set up.
Good.
And you can get all that stuff at Runnings.
You can. We'll get you covered.
Wow. Okay.
Lefse caramel rolls. That really went down a track right there.
You didn't know we're like doing a cooking show on Mondays now, did you? You know, it's funny. Playing the Make-A-Wish that's at You Mary tomorrow, And that, Make-A-Wish is something that you're familiar with from your J.C. Penney's days. And, just one of the many things, Runnings really gets involved in the community events and things like Make-A-Wish at U Mary, which is taking place tomorrow. So I encourage everybody, early games, get out there for the basketball, great fundraiser. A lot of opportunity for getting involved in the community this time of the year, and Running's right in the middle of it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you got something going on, we encourage you to come in, talk to us. We have a community site on runnings.com. You can submit your story and what you're going after. We really, specifically in our store, we do have some leeway at a local level, but they want corporate support. But we really want to get out there and support youth, ag, 4-H, and if we can go out there to help kids and support the programs, and that's kind of where we're at. We just had 4-H and did a big fundraiser in the store. They did a big lunch cook, and it was awesome. And then we had them come back out. So they're going to come back out in January 20th, because that's our inventory. I'm like, well, what better way to have you guys come make all the food for us? So we'll just pay them.
Well, yeah, because you guys cook anyway.
We make food anyways for inventory. Right? So this is a way we can support 4-H. They can come in. Burley County 4-H kids are going to come and cook some food on January 20th in the store on that Saturday. And, it's a free will donation. You donate what you want. They had smoked pulled pork, brats, hamburgers, tons of cookies and bars and treats and Shasta soda. And you name it, they were ready to go for you.
You mentioned Runnings is always there trying to help out kids for different events. And of course, when I started Capital City Christmas for all these different events when I was mayor of Bismarck, and for arts and humanities projects, and you guys were one of the first ones in on with the Breakfast with Santa and all the kids that get fed on that Small Business Saturday after Thanksgiving. Yep. It's big supporters, so appreciate that. In fact, have you seen, because we dole out about $60,000 a year to different arts and a lot of kids projects, humanities projects, all helping kids for the most part. Sanford Foundation and Bismarck Public Schools Foundation, they get a big chunk for their music program for underprivileged kids that can't afford an instrument, help out there. Different art projects. So the tunnel was one of the first projects that we did by the Heritage Center.
Yep, going over underneath the road.
Yes, the event center, that art piece for the kiosk, that obelisk out front. That was another Capital City Christmas donation. Santa Run. So Judge Reich with RAD, Runners Against Destructive Decisions, and started the Santa Run. Everybody's familiar with the Santa Run. Mm-hmm. If you haven't been by the Heritage Center this year, and I would suggest doing it quickly because it's going to warm up again later this week, but they had the Team North Dakota that won the national snow sculpting competition, and Capital City Christmas had given a donation to the Santa Run to RAD, and they used some of those funds for an art project out in front of the Heritage Center. Go check out the snow sculpture.
Yeah, I'll have to drive back on the way home.
Phenomenal. Unbelievable piece of art.
And that's one of the things too, is we're not all about agriculture. There is a lot of the arts community too.
You got that really cool tractor.
We do got a really cool tractor.
You do.
But we're happy to help jump in on some of the arts projects as well. It's an important part of the community. It's an important part of youth. When you look at what Bismarck Public Schools does with some of that money to help get kids more involved in orchestra and musical instruments that couldn't normally afford that musical instrument. Now they have this opportunity to play this. There's a lot of good there, and it's beyond ag and automotive and hunting, and it's more like how do you support youth for tomorrow and give them better tools in class.
By the way, how was the Nutcracker?
Nutcracker was awesome. So I was in Nutcracker this past weekend with my two kids. So we did there's a party scene when you open, and my youngest boy was a party boy, and then I was a party parent. So we got to dance on stage and hang out this weekend and have a great time. So it was a lot of fun. Great show. And
that's a visual I won't get rid of. Brad, the party parent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you wearing a hat?
No, I didn't get a top hat. No, one of the other guys got the top hat. I know.
I'm a little disappointed now. You're the hat guy. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. We're talking with Brad Ock, General Manager over at Running South Bismarck. right off of South Washington.
Yep.
Make sure you stop by. All kinds of cool stuff. We're going to talk about tomorrow, the 12 days.
12 days of Christmas.
Starting tomorrow. Gosh, Christmas is that close.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Should probably go shopping. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Talk of the
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bakken, weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app. Talk of the Town, brought to you by Big Boy, just get in line, it moves fast. Dakota Pharmacy and Dakota Natural Health Center. We're here to help you stay well. Trademark Realty, Peak Automotive and Service, Runnings, your home, farm, and outdoor store, and Silver Ranch. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bakken along with Brad Ock, General Manager of Runnings, South Washington in South Bismarck. And coming up, this is probably the fastest we've polished off an entire bag of jerky.
It is. It's gone. It's out of here.
The steak bites are on sale.
Tell you what, though, that is
Iowa Smokehouse.
That is some good
$5 off
stuff.
A bag. That's crazy. We had a little help, though. Rick Ryder popped in.
He came in twice. Yeah. Blame him.
We're going to blame him?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rick. You ate all of our jerky. But, no, I love steak bites. They're awesome. But coming up tomorrow, starting 12 days of Christmas. I cannot believe. I was looking at the calendar. I'm like, it's close.
It is. I read
2 weeks from today.
I remember pinning the email at the top, and I was like, all right, don't forget about 12 days of Christmas. All this stuff's coming up. And today, each morning I kind of go through what I have pinned on the top. I was like, oh my gosh, 12 days of Christmas starts tomorrow. And so every day for 12 days.
A partridge in a wait, in your case, it's chickens, right?
Yeah.
Well, not this
in
time
March.
of year.
In March, yeah.
Those come up in March, but you got chicken supplies.
Mm-hmm. Lots of it. Lots of heated water tanks, heat bulbs. We got it all. But yeah, it was shocking to be like, oh my gosh, we have 12 days left. And so what Runnings is doing is every day they're featuring a new flash sale. And each 12 days of Christmas. So they're kicking it off tomorrow with 100.
Do we know what those are?
We do. So tomorrow kicks off with a 171-piece socket set. So it's normally $160. It'll be $100 tomorrow. $100 tomorrow. So $60 off. This is probably one of the better ones. I would say out of the 12 days, this is the one that really struck like, wow, this is a great deal. If you're going to come in and grab a socket set for somebody, tomorrow's your day to come in and grab, or for yourself. Treat yourself too. And then, we got.
All you have to do is fight from Santa. Sure.
Yep. Just got to pay attention. Hit up the Runnings website because there's going to be self-tightening straps, slippers, more tools. There's knives and Yetis and, some DeWalt stuff. And we just really got to pay attention.
You're going to have Yetis on sale?
Yep. They'll have Yetis.
Yetis are never on sale.
Almost $10 off. On some of those, so you'll have to just kind of jump on Runnings, sign up for the text message alerts when you get on there. If you want to see what's going on.
So my phone's going to start blowing up tomorrow.
It should. 12 days because you get your one text a week letting you know about the ad, right? And then I am assuming for the 12 days of Christmas they'll be sending out little alerts because each day is a new deal, right? And we make it easy. We bring the deal up front. We just drop it up front by the doors for you, so you don't need to go searching for it. It'll be up there.
Nice. If you run out of things, rain checks. On the deals?
Maybe they'll do rain checks. It depends it depends what's on order. Yeah, if it's something we can pull up and we can see it's in the DC, we'll always do a rain check. But if we don't see anything on order for the distribution center, then we won't do that rain check because we just don't know if it's ever going to come back in. But as long as it's sitting in the DC, we do rain checks all day.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, and that'll go for anything in the ad, too, because, you're looking at some good deals right now on mucks. If you need a pair of work boots.
Well, I was going to say that because, we were talking about during the break, because I said, go see that snow sculpture in front of the Heritage Center. It's amazing, but you better hurry because the weather's going to warm up.
Yep.
Well, when we're going to warm back up, that means we're going to get slushy, sloppy. If you're out checking cattle or buffalo or whatever you're doing, it gets a little muddy out in that farmyard.
Yep. Yeah, this is the time, and we got some sales running on muck boots right now. And if we don't have your size, that's a perfect time to order it in and give you a rain check, because that is something we carry all the time. So if your size is gone, get a rain check. We'll get that ordered in for you. But also, too, like
warm and dry.
Yeah.
I like warm and dry.
I mean, there's steel toe. I mean, you can kind of pick if you want a soft toe or a steel toe, a mid-length, high-length, low cut, like whatever you're looking for some of those boots. I mean, we have options.
One of the other things, too, is you don't see these on sale very often, boot dryers.
Yep, boot dryers. And, they did a really good job, too. We got a couple of those. And this is going to be a big boot dryer year for what we're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks as far as mud and snow melting and just kind of some cruddy weather.
That sucks as bad as having wet shoes.
Not only that, but your kids and grandkids. Oh, man, my kids come home and they take their snow boots off. You're like, what in the world?
My world stops. It's like, no, I'm not doing anything else because I have wet feet. Nope, not going to happen. Boot dryer, throw it on there, 15 minutes, boom, done, Go back out.
And I know on break you made a comment too, wool socks and other socks around the store right now. Wool socks specifically on sale. And there's some good things going on as far as some little stocking stuffers and some things you can pick up. But we got a couple of cases right up front at the doors. And, both men's, women's, and kids' socks are always, it always blows my mind how many pairs of socks we sell every December. So it's a good time. It's like that one gift that...
you could pair that up. Buy a pair of boots.
They come in pairs.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, I'm there. But buy a pair of boots, get a pair of socks.
Mm-hmm. But in fact, we're not running that promo now, but I think it's Muck who runs that promo from time to time. Or is it Noble? Might be Noble. One of our boot companies runs free sock with purchase sometimes.
Well, one of my favorite boots, love these work boots, Carolina work boots, great line, great product, quality. They last forever.
Yep, and Carolina also makes, they make the boot with the steel toe and the Met Guard. Mm-hmm. So if you're working someplace that requires that Met Guard and a steel toe, this is an option for you. And if you're not, if you just want it for around the farm for whatever reason,
actually.
It is. It's really hard. There's only a couple places in town you can go to get that Met Guard because some businesses, they won't let you have the... you buy the Met Guard separate and put it on there. It has to be built into the shoe. And we have two options. Ariat makes one of those, and then Carolina makes one of those.
So not just one option.
We got two
options at Runnings.
Yep.
As far as other clothing lines, we got the 12 Days of Christmas. I'm assuming there's probably going to be some pretty good cold weather gear that pops up during those 12 days.
Yep. You're going to see...
I did break out the snowblower this weekend.
You did. Our neighbor did too, thankfully, because that was some heavy snow.
It was a little wet.
Yes. Yeah, but if you need some Bernie cold weather bibs to go with that or some Carhartt stuff... Burn's on sale, 20% off. Ariat's on sale, 20% off this week. So there's some good deals. If you got cold snow blowing, come on in and get one.
Actually, I was in last week and I found a Burn work vest. I like to layer up, and I'm a vest guy. And it was on the clearance rack because they would change the model.
Oh, that's good time.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. But this is free. I literally, you look at the markdown. It was like, whoa.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I really do like working. What I like most about working at Runnings is the pricing is fair to begin with. Mm-hmm. So if you come in there and you see something cheaper somewhere else, we encourage you every single time to tell us. Like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I saw this cheaper at this business. Man, we're going to look that up right there, and not only are we going to match that price, we're going to send it to the buyer and say, hey, look, so-and-so has this product cheaper than us, and then within a couple of days, we get a price change to mark that product down. So I really enjoy, in my retail career, when you stand behind like an everyday low price, I think Runnings does a great job giving that everyday low price without having to fight for that. It's just what's a fair price, and let's price it there.
And that's one of the things with Runnings too is you guys are always out looking to, hey, we can lower something. We can lower something because you'll run into a lot of businesses that are like, oh yeah, we'll price match that, but the price stays the same on the shelf. Yep. Not the case of Runnings. You're like, oh, well, we'll price match that, and Well, what do we have to do to get that price down there?
Right. How do we make sure we don't have to do that again?
Yeah.
And we see it a lot with pet food. We love pets. You bring your pet into the store, whether it's a goat, a rabbit, cat, dog. It doesn't matter. Like horse. I actually saw something on Red Zone. Someone had a horse come in with them. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but we would welcome it with open eyes. Yeah, mini horses or mini cows.
It's hard to get through the doors.
I tell you what, if you bring in like a little mini cow right now, you would be every associate would be over there.
That would be called a calf.
Yeah, no, you got the mini cows.
Oh, really?
It's huge right now. You got to do some research on mini cows.
I'll have to look up mini cows.
Yeah, if you don't, it is one of those things, man. It would be. I know our district manager. His wife wants one.
Oh no.
Yeah, and he's like, oh gosh, but they're kind of cool though. They look super cool, and I don't know. It's fun. It's fun. But yeah, we love pets. You got to bring them in when you go shopping. Don't leave them at home. Bring them in.
Do you have alpaca food?
You know what? I don't know.
Alpacas used to be big.
Yeah. I'll have to do some. I'll do some checking.
Yeah.
I'm sure like the 12% all species or something might help cover a little bit of that.
Actually, I used to go elk hunting out in Colorado, and we'd pack elk out with llamas.
We have llamas.
Sure-footed. I know you have llamas.
Mm-hmm.
Sure-footed, can throw them off the mountain, and nothing screws with them. I mean, they'd fend off mountain lions, and coyotes are a joke to them, and it's like pretty crazy.
Yeah, but that is like a highlight. When people bring in their pets, we have some very excited associates when it comes around pets. So by all means.
Is this your way of telling me I should bring the puppies in?
Absolutely bring the puppies in.
Puppies?
People would love it. Okay. Fill a little shopping cart with puppies and go shopping. And then they'll all get little puppy treats when they check out.
Oh, perfect. Make sure you stop by Runnings, whether it's pet supplies, livestock, cattle, horses. They've got it all. Goats. Pygmy goats, that's a thing. I got a friend that really, in the music industry, she's big into pygmy goats. Loves pygmy goats. Another thing.
There's a lot.
Mini cows. I'm going to have to look that up.
Mini cows.
This is Talk of the Town on... So... Mini Coopers, the car.
Yeah.
I call them mini poopers. So is that what a mini cow does?
Yeah. Little pies. Little mini pies.
Little mini pies. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 12.
Funeral. Super Talk.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
You're tuned to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270. Okay, during the break, we were talking to Brad Ock, general manager at Runnings in South Bismarck off of South Washington. And during the break, we had to go look up mini cows. And I had to show Andy Ani, from our sister station, Hot 97. It's like, oh my gosh, are those cute?
They are the most adorable things I've ever seen.
You want one of those now, don't you?
Well, if I see one on the side of the road and it happens to just hop into my car, that's on you. For letting it be there.
You could have that in your apartment.
I feel like I could. It'll be my emotional support cow.
If anybody's got a miniature cow, bring one to the radio station so Andy can see it. She wants to see a miniature cow, and so do I. And like you said, too, if somebody's got one, bring it into the store.
Absolutely. My team would go crazy if someone brought in a mini cow. They do. Like the whole store, almost every associate who works at Runnings loves pets in some way, shape, or form. Like almost everybody. So if you brought a mini cow in, they would.
All right, Andy, if you could have your pick of any pet right now, what would it be?
Well, definitely in the running is mini cow. I mean, you didn't even mention the fact that they have like long hair that you can braid.
Yeah,
like,
the Highland ones, it's like,
oh my gosh, it's like a My Little Pony, but not a pony. I love it.
Way better than a Barbie
version of My Little Pony.
Cow version, yeah. It's way better than a Barbie. You can play with that. It's like, I wonder if you could teach it to fetch. Speaking of Barbies and toy season, right?
It is.
Yeah, this is like the last big push. Come get your toys.
Absolutely. We got some good deals going on this week, too. We've had a lot of phone calls asking when we're running all the toys on sale, and that will be next week, the week of Christmas. We'll run all toys 25% off. There are some toys on sale this week, though. I mean, huge brands. There's Legos, John Deere, Cat, Hot Wheels.
You got some stuff that's better than the 25% off this week.
Right.
So if there's something you're looking for, come look now because, there's going to be some more sales next week. But right now, there's some things that are better than that.
You said
sale.
Barbie. We got a little 3 princess pack right now on sale for $17.99.
Oh, we got a little princess right here. Andy's still in the studio with us.
But this is our big one. Toys, you see where our lawn and garden stuff is all summer long, and then all those runs get pushed aside, and it just gets filled up with toys.
Yeah, it's huge. Your toy selection is huge.
Oh, gosh, there's board games. Melissa and Doug, I mean, from infant to teenager, like, we have toys that's going to make someone happy. We even got those ride-on toys, like the big Hot Wheels trucks and cars that you can recharge the batteries and send them out.
Andy rides one of those to work every morning.
There we go. Good gas efficiency.
She charges it all night long. If we get more snow, I want to drive one of those tractors to work. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we had a guy in this past weekend. I don't know how much time we got left. I'll make it quick. And we were talking to him, and he had purchased one of those Summit tractors from the South Dakota Rapid City store. He's got 2.5 acres up in the hills, and he said this thing has just been a powerhouse for him. He, it's a smaller tractor, and he wasn't sure quite what to expect, but he uses it for a lot of grading. He's got the grapple. He loves that the tires are weighted and they're ready to go. I had heard out of the 7 or 8 that they sold, they had one customer who had an issue, and it was actually him. And I asked him how that worked. He goes, you know what? I called the customer service line. Not only did they help walk me through it, but they switched us over to a video call, and I was able to show them exactly, because he had hit a rock and what has happened, and it did something, and it was knocking. They walked him through a quick repair to get back to work, and then they sent him a new piece, and then they'll just video call him and help him put it back in on the spot. So he didn't have to bring it anywhere.
Okay,
he was able to do it himself.
Cool.
It's just, it's a great company. He was super impressed with how quickly Summit responded to his
how many
issue.
times I thought, it's like, if I could just show you what's broken on customer service, they do that.
Yeah, they just switched over to, he said if he was really impressed, he was really nervous when it started making that ticking sound. It was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Called up, nope. They had him back out and running in no time, sent him a new shield for what he needed, and back he went, and he's just really loved it. But this is a 2.5 acre spot for him, and these are 25 horsepower tractors. But he said this thing's just a workhorse, and he is very pleased with it at this point.
So I just had a thought. If a big cow goes moo, what's a mini cow do? Moo. Andy, what's a mini cow sound like?
I think you did the best impression I've ever known. I can't match it. I don't know.
If you got a mini cow, bring it by Runnings. They'd love to see it. So, or the studio. Andy would like to see one too. Stop by Runnings. A lot of sales going on right now heading into Christmas. And the 12 days of Christmas start tomorrow. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.